Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Asian Nation. Good morning. I'm Johnny Asian, and that's the program name. And we have so much fun on this program. By the way, I want to get right to our guest. Fantastic guest today, Brandon Landry. Have you ever heard the story of walk-ons? Many locals have. He's now opened a 50th location in the country, now franchising, and it's just awesome. I want to get right to him, but I want to remind you, if you're not watching us on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, WAFB's YouTube channel, and check it out, because that's where we will be able to get your comments and we can talk to you after the interview. But I want to get right to Brandon Landry because he is such a fantastic guy, very motivating and very interesting as well. So without further ado, Brandon Landry of Walk-Ons, are you here in town or traveling around the country to one of your many locations?
yeah. I'm actually in Baton Rouge, right here on Burbank Drive, right by the original. That's where our office is.
Tell the 50th location.
Yeah,
In
man,
how
it's
many
crazy.
years?
So we opened up the original right here in the gates of Tiger Stadium in '03. So we're going on 18 years this year.
Good gracious.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem possible. I remember when that location was brand spanking new. My
I know.
gosh.
We're getting old, man. We're getting old.
Well, maybe I am. You're certainly not. You look great. Now, and I know you're sick and tired of telling the story over and over and over again. I know it. Everybody around here knows it. But for purposes of who might be watching the program today, can you tell me the story with you and Jack and the walk-on thing and scratching something out on a napkin? Could you
Yeah,
go through the whole thing?
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, like you said, a lot of people around here know it, but I was Jack and I were both walk-ons on the LSU basketball team in the late '90s, early 2000s. I came in John Brady's first year, and figured out pretty early on in our career we probably weren't going to make money playing basketball and playing the NBA. I think my senior year I played 7 minutes. For you guys that know anything about basketball, that's not a whole lot for an entire season. And so we were literally on the way back from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and on the way back we got beat bad that night, and we started doodling on that bev nap. All the starters were sleeping, we were wide awake. Started doodling on that little bev nap on the way home, and we said that's where walk-ons was created. We drew we think we want it to look like this. We'll have the bar here. I mean, we're 19 and 20 years old at the time, and ironically, fast forward today, if you look at all of our bev naps in every location, it's the original drawing that we did on that plane. But excuse me, we came back and we were in an entrepreneurship class here at LSU. Dr. Robert Justice, who just retired a year or two ago, and he was doing a business plan project and said, what the hell, let's do walk-ons. And so we did it, and Dr. Justice gave us a C, and it wasn't necessarily the idea. We just needed some help with the business plan. And so, like every great professor, is like, look, if you're really serious about this, come see me. And well, the guys that we took him up on it. We said, man, like, we'd really want to do this. And so we started, working in different restaurants and just trying to understand the business. I mean, we were still on the team, so we were spending a lot of time doing that. But, one thing led to another. We got really serious about it right after college, and got lucky on a piece of property, and put a few dollars down on it, everything that we had, just to see if we can go get financing. non-refundable deposit. And so we started trying to get financing, and got some investors that really liked our idea. But once again, it's the restaurant business. We were young and inexperienced, like everything going against us, right? And so went to the first bank, and they said, guys, we love it. Yeah, but no. And we got it, and so we went to number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and they all said, no, 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 no. And then what does a walk-on do? Never stop, never quit mentality. Let's go to the next one, showing true grit. And so we went to number 7, and they said, guys, if you're willing to bust your tail, we like this, we'll back you. So that's where we got the money then. And a couple of years later, in 2003, we got the original open, and we were 23 and 24 years old. Didn't know anything really about the restaurant business, especially a new one. We didn't buy a franchise. We didn't buy the systems and the processes and everything that we actually sell today in our franchise. So the early years were interesting, to say the least. We were more known as a bar back then. And I like to say that the concept really has grown and matured with us, over the 18 years now. And, it's ironically what we're known for is our food. We forgot to draw the darn kitchen on the original napkin. And that's what's funny now. And we're 73% food to alcohol ratio as we're traveling throughout the country. And
I don't know anything about restaurants, but that sounds odd.
Yeah,
for a sports bar to have so much of the percentage of your income food.
Yeah, and that's where we've kind of broken the mold. Honestly, and look, in the early years, we were going down that road of being your prototypical sports bar, right? Where you go and you drink a beer, you watch a game. If you get really hungry, you order some freezer to fryer food. Nothing against that. That's just that's what the sports bars were made of. But I guess 7 or 8 years in, we're like, man, we're from South Louisiana. You don't eat to live down here. You literally live to eat. And if we're going to have a place, like, we got to be good. It's not like we got to go get, chefs and try to win James Beard Awards or anything like that. It was more like, let's just have quality. We got Louisiana cuisine and everything we do now. At that point, we decided, let's do it with quality and let's make it different. And now, it's not like we quit selling booze, but we just sell a lot of food. And especially as we're getting further away from our home base here, you can't get Louisiana cuisine, at least with any quality, the further you get away from here. And so that's been a big point of differentiation for us. Ironically, like I said, back in the day we opened up, we weren't good at any of that stuff. And I speak often, and I tell people, anybody that came in the original location from 03 to around 06 or 07, I apologize, because we were not very good. But now that's what we hang our hat on. And so we've come a long way in 18 years.
I'm a marketing major from LSU, and I remember some statistic that was horrifyingly frightening. It was something about most new restaurants closed within the first 3 years of operation.
Yeah.
And you guys open in the shadows of Tiger Stadium. That has got to be part of that original location success, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Look, with every success story comes a little bit of luck, right? And, I definitely game days, football Saturdays, and baseball and basketball, and anything that was going on, that kind of got us through the first couple of years. But still in all, there's been lots of restaurants right around this area that think the same thing. They go, oh, I'll be at LSU, I'll make it no matter what. Well, their doors were shuttered really, really quickly. It has to be more than that. And look, that was, the thing. We were young and inexperienced, but we were also, we knew what we didn't know. And that was a lot. And so we were always looking just to reach out, and anybody that could help us, let's just get better. And that's still our mentality today. You either get better or you get worse. You don't stay the same. And over the years, we just wanted to get a little bit better, a little bit better.
Old-fashioned grit.
That's it, man. That's one of the top characteristics of a walk-on, right? You better have grit. You better be able to face adversity and fight through it. So,
I wonder if your youth and inexperience actually worked for you back in when you started.
I absolutely think it did, because once again, we weren't these prideful seasoned restaurateurs that came in and said, we're going to do it this way and no other way. We were like, man, let's just look, if that works, let's just get better. And anybody that was willing to help us, we were willing to accept it. And then we could burn both ends of the candle, if we had to. I couldn't do that now in my 40s. it's it's a little bit different. But yeah, the youth definitely helped.
Oh my God, you're so old.
Yeah.
So walk me through the idea of, this one's good. Let's do another and another. And how did it lead to 50 of them? You can't be in the shadow of 50 University of Texas or 50 LSUs.
Yeah. Actually, this is the only one where we're in the shadows, and our model is a lot different. But yeah, I mean, so we went through the first couple of years, like I said, and then in 2011 we decided to take the concept to Lafayette, which is a very strong restaurant town. You better be good if you're going to Lafayette.
Strong college town too.
Very strong, but we didn't go next to UL. We went out at Ambassador Caffery at College Saloon at the Power Center, where the Target and all the other. And so lots of people they doubted us. They didn't know. Man, this place is an LSU place. It's a game day place. But at that point, we'd had 8 years under our belt. We took the previous years before that and really started implementing systems and processes. And like I said, elevated. One thing I didn't mention, but we had from the get-go was a culture. Was that walk-on culture? Was that team camaraderie? I mean, that's the only thing we knew. And being a part of a team is being a part of something bigger than yourself. And even though we didn't know the restaurant business that well when we opened up, our team knew we cared, and they knew how we were going to take care of each other. And so that's something that we elevated even more when we went to Lafayette. And we opened up in Lafayette, and it was a $7 million plus restaurant right away for the first. Still, I mean, we just made 10 years, and it's still one of the most successful restaurants in the system. Later on that year, we had an opportunity. Smith & Walensky's had shut down on Porter Street after Katrina and never set foot back in that building.
Boy, that's a great location.
Yeah, we formed a partnership with the landlord down there, who's my partner today. Actually, he's the one that bought Jack, my original partner, out. We went in and did an unbelievable renovation, and 2 blocks from the Superdome, and that was another event-driven site, and so it got lots of recognition. It got lots of foot traffic. When you're talking Final Fours and Super Bowls and things like that, and so. That location, you can kind of call it almost like a marketing and branding site for us. Like I said, it exposed our brand to lots of people around the country, around the world, really. And in late 2012, we were nominated. I don't know if you remember, we were nominated for ESPN's #1 sports bar. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool because you had, of course, all of our teammates and managers and things like that, but you almost had like the pride of South Louisiana. Like, people were voting. It was online voting. I remember the governor at the time. Everybody was like, let's get walk-ons across the finish. I mean, look, we were nominated one of 5,200 restaurants. We were just happy to make that list. And then they narrowed it down to 100 to 12 to 4. We make the final 4. And then they call us in October 15th, 2012. I'll never forget the day. ESPN called and said, congrats, you just been chosen as ESPN's #1 sports bar in North America. And an award's an award, right? But when you get ESPN and that national recognition like that, it just gave us a little bit of credibility. And honestly, the reason why they told us that we won the award was what we hoped. We were getting credit for the things that we hoped we were getting credit for. First of all, our culture was second to none. Everything I talked about, the team, energizing, inspiring, everything that we had done throughout those years, even though we didn't know the restaurant business. Great Louisiana cuisine in a sports bar. They mentioned in the article, we walk in a sports bar, of course, they got 80 TVs and 50 beers on tap, but also I can get duck and andouille gumbo and bacon wrapped shrimp stuffed with jalapeno and cream cheese served over sweet corn grit. Like, this isn't a sports bar. And then the last one we think was important, and where we knew we had kind of broke the mold, it was a family place. There was children, there were women. Women love sports too. To that point, the prototypical sports bar was, let's go after males 18 and 35 and let's feed them beer and let them watch games and don't worry about the other demos. We thought differently, and those things right there really took us to another level. And so we took the next year or two to really kind of get our plan together. That opened a lot of eyes. That opened investors, one being by the name of Drew Brees. he called us up and he said, man, I love what you guys are doing. And I want to be a part of it. And so Drew ended up buying in as an owner. And then franchisees, we had not made the decision at that point to franchise the model, but at that point we figured we may have something special here. So we took the next couple of years to really, if you're going to franchise something, you better have an answer for everything, even before they ask the question. And so we launched our franchise model in 2015. And here we are, less than 6 years later, with 50 plus units and over 160 sold throughout the country. We'll be in 14 states by the end of the year, and life is good at Walk-Ons.
Well, you mentioned the New Orleans, and you talked a lot about sports and in the shadow of the Superdome, in the shadow of Tiger Stadium. But I got to tell you, from my personal experience, a group of us went to see Bruno Mars at the Smoothie King Center 2 years ago. We were coming into New Orleans from all over, and we were meeting at Walk-Ons. Let's hook up at Walk-Ons. It was just great. So it's not just sports, it's just it's a go-to restaurant, actually.
It really is. And to your point earlier, while we're over 70%, we're a restaurant. We're not a bar. We're not a sports. We are a sports bar, but people look at us as a restaurant. We do over 35% lunch sales. That's not common in a sports bar either. So, we're in Tallahassee, Florida. We're in Midland, Texas. It's a Wednesday, and we're doing killer lunch sales because of the cuisine, and so we're a restaurant first and foremost.
Brandon, was it always Walk-On Sports Bistro, or was it just Walk-Ons?
Yeah, so it used to be, when we opened up, it was Walk-Ons Bistro and Bar. And we took a lot of years ago with the branding team and marketing, and really looking at it, especially as we're traveling throughout the country, and we just didn't want to be confusing to anyone. We love the bistro part because it kind of brings that Louisiana aspect into it. But we are sports, right? And so the things that we are, we one of our taglines is game day with a taste of Louisiana. So if you can bring sports and bistro Louisiana in together, and we just thought it fit us better. And also, we sponsor, of course, we give back a lot. That's part of our DNA to, not only be a part of the community, but give back to that community. And a lot of, churches, high schools, little league teams, they didn't want bar on their uniforms or on their scoreboards or whatever it may be. And so we looked at it as an opportunity for that stance as well, as man, let's just, because they're changing our logo anyway. They're just putting up Walk-On's Bistro because they don't want the bar on there. And so we just thought it was a great fit for us.
Have you? I'm not going to deviate too long from Walk-Ons, but have you talked to Drew since he retired? Is he going to be more visible in the New Orleans Walk-Ons? Or?
Yeah, actually, so Drew's an owner of everything. He's not just New Orleans. So he's an owner of our parent company. But yeah, we talk often. Look, it's the thing about Drew. If he's in something, he's in it. And he's not a passive investor, I don't think, in anything. And his attention to detail that you see on the football field, that's in every aspect of his life. And we've had tons of opportunity now because he's not getting ready for next season. Of course, he's starting a new profession, and he'll be. People ask me, how do you think he'll be as a broadcaster? I said, it's Drew Brees. He is going to be the best that he can possibly be at anything.
Oh, he's going to kill it. He's absolutely going to kill it, no question.
But yeah, he's involved. Look, he understands. What our vision is, what our goals are. If we sell new markets, he wants to know. He likes to get to know the franchisees. The other day for the 50th over, he's like, man, is there anything I can do, man? He shot a video. He posted it on Instagram. It's Drew. Aside from the football side of it, he's an unbelievable person, and I'm proud to be called a partner. I can tell you that much.
Tell me about the $50,000 promotion. Give me some details about that. That caught my eye pretty big.
Yeah, so I think we won it. 50 is a big milestone for us, right? Like I tell you, the start we weren't supposed to be successful in number
10's a big milestone for a lot of people.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, absolutely. We looked at it and said, look, this is an opportunity for us to not only celebrate that particular location, but let's celebrate it system wide. And so we just got together and we wanted to do a big splash. And so let's give away $50,000. The first 50 people at each restaurant got a free entree. So we had lines. We did loyalty bonus points. And then, Drew Brien, our partner, and then Dak Prescott is actually our franchise part. He's part of the Dallas-Fort Worth group. And so, and Devin White, former Tiger, he's part of our Tampa group. And so we were able to get Dak, Drew, and Devin all to sign 50 jerseys. And so at each location, we gave each of their jerseys away as well. So it was great for the brand. It was great for all our franchise party, everybody. It's a big deal for us, and it's the best thing is the best is yet to come.
Well, that leads me right into my next question. Where do you go from here? Are you afraid of growth? You know how some venues grow so quickly, and what made them successful becomes their detriment. Are you worried about that at all, or
not at all? Because I know we're investing in the right things, and it's not just buildings or technology or anything. We keep investing back in our culture. Our culture is culture's scalable. I mean, if you look at the greats, and I have the luxury of having one of my best friends and my mentors here in town, Todd Graves, who's doing the same exact thing with Raising Cane's. And, Todd's got 600 plus locations, but he's got one item, right? So it's not like he's winning any James Beards awards with Chick-fil-A, but the culture that he's instilled in his company, and you look at a Chick-fil-A and, Southwest Airlines, the reason why they do it over and over because they invest in the route. A lot of people don't do that because it's not easily quantifiable, and it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money. But, it's like the old saying, you invest in the root, you get the fruit. And so for us, that's what we concentrate on. We know if we're picking the right franchise partners and we're investing our time, effort, energy, money into them to make them understand our wow, which is our walk-on's way, that we can keep growing without any hesitation. So that doesn't scare us one bit, because we know if we're doing our job, that walk-ons will be able to grow the right way.
We're going to have Todd on in a future show very shortly to talk about the things going on. I think what is it with him? The Discovery Channel, I think there's something going on there.
Yeah, he's hot. We call him Hollywood now. He spends
Hollywood.
He spends more time on TV than anybody. But he did some, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but he did some really, in true Todd and Kane's fashion, some really amazing things during COVID, just to be able to get back. So he'll fill you in on that. It's really cool.
How did you weather the storm through COVID with 49 locations, 50 last the 22nd of March?
Yeah, man, it's looking back about a year from now, we were in a different spot, right? But and not just us. Like I'm just saying, poor pitiful us, but it's the world, right? But especially the restaurant business. I mean, when you're in the casual dining space, full service space, and they tell you, hey, by the way, you got to shut your dining rooms. That's a hit. And so, but what do great companies do? They don't sit there and hang their head, say, poor pitiful us. Let's go to work. Like you said, true grit. Let's show our grit. What are we going to do when we're slapped with a little adversity? And so we got together and said, let's pivot where we have to. And the great thing about our brand, and we had invested in our culture. So all our team was like, look, whatever we got to do. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my job. No, let's go to work. And so we pivoted to takeout right away. And the great thing about having good food, people still came. So, I mean, of course, we dipped really big at first, but then within a couple weeks, as takeout and not eating in restaurants became the norm, we got back up really quick to about 60, 70, some units, 80% of normal sales. And then as restaurants started, as states started, the restrictions started going away, we were able to get a few people back in the dining rooms and get people back working as much as we could. And, look, we're very blessed. We finished 2020 less than 5% down from 2019, which is almost unheard of in our space. But once again,
economic professors at LSU will tell you that doesn't happen.
It just doesn't. But look, and there's plenty of restaurants out there that didn't do that have really good food. But I go back to to our bread, but our culture. And you know, look, we gave back. I mean, in the middle of the pandemic, when we really have no sales coming in, our team, you know, gets together and said, let's do what we can to give back. So we started our furlough kitchen, and that was to feed any hospitality worker that was furloughed. It didn't matter if you worked for walk-ons or not. If you were furloughed, you could come get a free meal. And so within those few months, and our franchise partners, of course, being the type of people, they jumped on with us. And so we fed over 40,000 free meals to furloughed hospitality workers in 6 states. It's a testament to our team and what they believe in. And that's the reason, honestly, I mean, things like that are why we recovered the way we did. It's not because we went and bought billboards or anything. No, we did what we always done. We invested in our community and gave back when the people needed it. And guess what? People don't forget that. And they come back. And once you get your dining rooms back open, then, you know what? You took care of this community. This community is going to take care of you.
I mean, I've believed that my entire life. The spiritual side of me says you're going to get more than you give, and that's exactly what you guys did. You know, you set the profit aside for a second and said, how can we help? I mean, I never expected to have a pandemic in my lifetime, ever. I didn't even know what one was.
Me neither. And that, I can tell you what, that's something they don't teach you in Restaurant 101 or in Dr. Justice's business class. I mean, you got to figure it out. And the way we looked at it is, first of all, we have to stay positive, because the everything that's going around the world right now is negative. And you know how dark it got during the summer with, you know, the social injustice and everything that was going on. It just, but you know, our philosophy inside of our walls was, we're going to stay positive no matter what. And the way we looked at it is, man, we got to take it one day at a time. And let's just, you know, if it was Monday, like, guys, let's get to Friday. You know, we can't look a month. We can't look 6 months, because we have not, like, things are changing daily. So our philosophy, we have our Monday staff meetings and we talk about the last couple of days, but like, let's get to Wednesday. And then, you know, okay, let's get to the weekend. And then in the weekend, we'll regroup. And how do we get to that next Tuesday? And that's really how we played our world here for 6 months, because we didn't know what was going to, like, nobody, to your point, nobody even knows, much less. And so, you know, I applaud our team and everybody that was associated with it. That they would just, you know, because when you got franchisees, of course, they look for you. So you have to over communicate. I think that was a huge part. You know, Scott Taylor, our president here, and he and I would get together, and Scott would send out a memo every day for like the first 2 months, just to let our teams and our franchise partners know, like, look, we're here for you. We're giving you updates. I wish we had the blueprint on how to handle this, but, you know, you have to over communicate, because in this world, especially in something like that, if there's any void of communication, people will fill it with negativity. That's just human nature. And so we was just trying to stay positive and say, look, guys, you know, I know we're only 20% of sales this week, but, you know, next week maybe we can get it to 25. And so it was just those. And then we suspended royalties. I mean, by the way, as a franchisor, we make money off of royalties. And so I think that was a big statement to our franchise partners, like, you know what? These guys got our back. And we're going to do everything in this world to make sure that we protect, we call it protect the W here, make sure walk-ons is protected. And those guys did. And so those little things like that. And even though, I mean, when you're doing 10 or 15% of normal sales, that's not a whole lot of royalties anyway. But our point was, even if it's a couple $100s, pay your team members with that. You know, go do something in the community. Maybe go feed somebody. I mean, those things are add up. And so, you know, having great partners like Drew Brees and Rick Farrell, we sat down and said, you know what, we're going to take a hit for a little while. But let's make sure our franchise partners are taken care of.
Dude, that is just an incredible story. And I'm glad that, you know, the universe, if you will, is rewarding your efforts in that area, because I started thinking about it. You have hurricanes, and a hurricane will wipe out Lake Charles, or they'll wipe out New Orleans. But your hurricane wiped out 50 locations out of 50, or at that time, 40 locations out of 40. Yeah. That's like having 49 stores destroyed at one time.
Yeah.
People can't recover from that.
No. And look, we kind of had to be the voice of trying to understand really quickly what PPP was, and get our guys in the right seats to be able to handle. So, I mean, it was, like I said, you just had to pivot. You couldn't sit here, and every day was a new day. And I know that's in our normal world in the restaurant business, but you talk about, and then to your point, you throw a couple hurricanes in South Louisiana on top of that, and trying to support our Lafayette and Lake Charles restaurants. And we actually turned our furlough kitchen into relief kitchen. At that point, our team went down there, and we had franchisees from all over the country saying, they're going through a pandemic, but they said, how can we help in Lake Charles? They're sending waters, they're sending food, they're sending any extra food from their restaurants just to help CO Valet and his team down in Lake Charles, our franchise partner over there, just to help them get through it. So it's really cool, man, when you build a team that is inspired, and really believes in the heart of a walk-on, and everyone, they know they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And so that's what makes me proud.
That's South Louisiana, all over your 50 locations. It's How's Your Mama Doing? How can I help? Come on in and grab a bite.
It is.
That's what you did.
It is, yes.
Brandon, man, I kept you longer than I wanted to, but it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I've only met you once. You probably won't remember it, but
I do.
I do enjoy your restaurant quite often. I have an uncle that is University of Texas to the max.
Yeah.
Just a retired pilot from Delta, lives in Dallas. Told all of his two kids, my two cousins, I will pay for your college if you go to UT Austin, and if you don't, you're on your own. And he was serious, and they did, and they're all successful. But he has everything burnt orange. You can't walk into his house in Dallas without him wearing some type of burnt orange. He's got a burnt orange Corvette. So now that he's retired from Delta, the commercial pilots have to retire, or the airline pilots have to retire at 60, and he's still young enough and healthy enough, so he flies corporate now. And he had a corporate layover and flew the jet to Baton Rouge, and while his passengers were doing something, he called me and said, "You want to grab a bite?" I said, "Sure." And I said, he goes, "Well, where do you want me to meet you?" I said, "I'll pick you up." And we went to walk-ons.
I love it.
I had to do that.
I love it.
He was fascinated, and as UT as he is, he was hugely complimentary, bought some swag.
Oh.
He was just hugely complimentary of the place, and it was so fun to do to a Longhorn to do
Well,
that.
Tell them we got a few in the Dallas area. We're in Arlington. We're in the Colony out in Frisco, and then we're heading to Austin here soon. So he'll like that. We'll have some burnt orange up in there.
Fantastic. Brandon Landry, you're amazing. Appreciate your time.
Johnny, appreciate it, man. Congrats.
Take care. See you soon.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye. What an incredible guy, man. I could listen to him all day long. He's very inspirational and very much deserving of the success, as are a lot of entrepreneurs. And weathering the storm of this thing, this COVID thing, which we're slowly starting to close in on. Have you gotten your vaccination? Come on, guys. Come on, get your vaccination. Hit me up on YouTube if you have a couple of questions. I want to plug the Asian Nation Spring and Summer Tour 2021. We're going to go be out and about again this coming weekend. It's on Sunday. The Baton Rouge Concert Band will be performing at the Goodwood Library on Goodwood Boulevard, the main library on Goodwood Boulevard. And I talked to the president of the Baton Rouge Concert Band. We were supposed to do this show last year. I was hooked up to do the emceeing last year, and everything kind of fell apart, but it's a great show. This year it's going to be centered around movie themes and themes from Broadway plays. Lux Bond, Bond Lux, I always flip-flop that. Bond Lux is back with us for just a quick second to tell us about the concert Sunday, since Asian Nation will not be actually here on YouTube again or on our platform until after the show is over with, but it's this Sunday. And it's a show we were going to do last year, I believe, right?
Yeah, we were going to actually do this, most of this concert last year for the spring concert, and it didn't happen. But we've been fortunate enough to be able to rehearse and on a regular basis. Folks are masking up, and we've got everybody's got bell covers, so we're controlling the aerosol, the threat of aerosol and everything. So, everybody, we're ready. everybody will recognize a lot of the tunes, things from Star Wars and Mary Poppins and Mask of Zorro, Avengers, South Pacific. So it's just going to be a lot of good, lighthearted uh, pieces that folks just come out and hear. And they'll be able to, if you know some of the words, sing along or just get ready for some goosebumps on some of them. We'll also do, as bands do, we're going to have a fair number of marches that we'll play. Um, and then there's going to be one that may seem a little out of character, but it's not. We are going to be playing an arrangement of Amazing Grace in honor of our good friend Donna Britt. Um, and also, a lot of us lost friends and relatives to COVID. So it's not just for Donna, although that was the main emphasis for uh, putting this on the program. But we also want to give people a chance to reflect on people that were taken from us way too soon, as Donna was. She helped us out. Somebody told me she actually conducted the band years ago for a concert. But she was, yeah, and she was a good musician. I believe she played piano and organ for her church growing up. She was an oboe player and had perfect pitch. And in later life, she both her children are great musicians, and they she was just a role model. Yep. And Johnny, we look forward to having you there. It's been a long time, and we're excited about being able to do this. And this is for everybody in Baton Rouge. Just come, enjoy yourself, enjoy having the privilege of being outside and enjoying springtime.
We will be there, Lux. Thank you so much. Bond Lux is with us from Baton Rouge Concert Band. Again, it's this Sunday. Not going to be able to be downtown just yet, but they're working on getting back downtown. So we're kind of excited about that. But we'll be out there this Sunday. So rain or shine, come on out to the Baton Rouge Main Library on Goodwood Boulevard and have some fun with us. Also, share, like, hit us up on Facebook. If you're new to the YouTube thing, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube because we want to get many subscriptions as possible and hit those little alarm buttons so that you can be notified when anything is on live on WAFB Plus, our new platform. We've had a great time on the show today. We will see you all over the place this week. And then 1 week from today, 10 o'clock, next Tuesday morning, it is the AHYSEN Nation, and we'll be back with you at that point. Have a fantastic Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning.